Press conferences are usually all about sharp words and subtle tactics, but this one erupted like chaos waiting to happen.
It reminds me of like one of those budget YouTube hood movies where someone just talks about their whole life and what they've come from and talking as if they're from one of the ghettos in Iraq or Africa or somewhere like that. But you know, he's got a sob story, he's running by it, and that's what makes him feel better, so we respect it. I just kind of listened and said my piece.
And you said to him, what have you done? Tell us what you've done.
Because as I said, like, you line up all the heavyweights, he was just talking about, oh, he's this, he's that, he's that. I said, but why are you worrying about what someone else has done? What have you done as a fighter to kind of boost your ego up? But he couldn't answer it because he ain't fought no one like us.
Jake Paul showed up doing what he always does, smiling, provoking, and testing boundaries, until Anthony Joshua finally rose from his seat like someone done entertaining online antics. In an instant, AJ closed the distance, focused and fired up, making it clear that this isn't some YouTube stunt. This is the realm of true heavyweights.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna break his face, I'm gonna break his body up, I'm gonna stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality, and I know what's in my heart, I know what's in my mind, and I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do that until I finish fighting, no matter who it is.
AJ snapped back, basically saying it didn't matter whether the fight was today or tomorrow, it was happening one way or another. Suddenly the whole room felt too tight for two massive personalities. Security rushed in, the shouting got louder, and the cameras shook as the crowd reacted like they were witnessing the unofficial opening round. In that moment, one thing became obvious. Jake Paul might have walked in thinking it was just another promotional moment, but AJ flipped the script. This wasn't hype anymore. This was personal, the kind of tension that bruises pride long before it ever touches a jaw.
Look, Netflix have spent a lot of money, MVP have spent a lot of money, and Jake would look like a plonker if he pulled out the fight now after giving it the big one. And he knows that, and this fight's happening. You know, and that they think, look, one thing I'll say is this: if there was ever a good time to fight Anthony Joshua, it's probably now. Right? Coming out of what will be 14 months of inactivity. By the way, he's also been in training camp for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, the time comes around. He's having to make weight. Maybe the confidence isn't where it has been in his career. So yeah, you can start addressing it.
We jump right out of that press conference madness and land straight into classic Teddy Atlas territory. It's like being at a family boxing dinner where Uncle Teddy starts serving his trademark honesty along with everything else on the table. And when a legend like Teddy casually drops, don't be surprised if Jake Paul can really make this interesting. You almost spit out your drink.
It's a choice of where people want to go to watch. It's still their choice. Before we look at all the reasons why Joshua should smash him, he's a pro fighter, two-time Olympian, two-time heavyweight champ, you know, bigger, stronger, you know, highest level of fighting at this weight class. I mean, he should destroy him like he destroyed Ngannou. And a lot of people will use that comparison. But styles make fights. And Jake Paul's not going to fight him or the way Ngannou fought.
Teddy breaks the whole matchup down like he's analyzing a case file. He points out that Jake is the younger guy, quicker on his feet, and surprisingly clever when it comes to those little details in contracts. Meanwhile, Joshua hasn't been active in the ring for a long stretch. He's trimming down like he's preparing for a runway shoot, and mentally, no one's quite sure which version of AJ will show up on fight night. Teddy basically lays out a list of factors most people online aren't even talking about, including the idea that if Jake manages to last 8 rounds, that alone could be considered a victory in the Jake Paul universe.
Maybe Paul has some advantages. He's younger. His feet are a little faster. I know he's not at that level of a fighter, I get it, but his feet are faster. Joshua's feet are not that fast, closing gaps, getting to somebody. To hit him, even if you're better than him, you still got to get to him to hit him. Also, Joshua, last time he fought was over a year. He hasn't fought. He was basically retired. Where's his mind at?
He even jokes about Netflix's legal team like they're the last line of defense for the entire planet, insisting they're not about to approve a live broadcast that risks turning into a total meltdown. And suddenly you and I, everyone watching, are thinking, wait, is Teddy Atlas actually suggesting this upset isn't impossible? That's the moment you realize the matchup has officially shifted from entertainment spectacle to full-on experiment. And maybe, just maybe, it's a little too early to be laughing it off.
I'm just putting it out there that before you just say, yeah, it's gotta be Joshua, don't discount how smart Mr. Paul has been so far. I wouldn't count him out in the ways that I just laid it out.
We move from Teddy Atlas turning the whole Jake Paul versus AJ situation into a mind game mystery, and suddenly we land on Dave Allen, who sounds like the weary bartender who's heard every unbelievable story and still isn't convinced. He's practically squinting at BoxRec like it's a forensic report, rereading Jake Paul's list of opponents just to confirm he's not imagining things. And honestly, you and I can't help but agree, because this matchup feels like someone hit shuffle mode on the entire sport.
I reckon this kid Jake Paul could win an area title, definitely. I really think he could. He trains hard. I respect all of that. I respect him for what he's doing. Brilliant, he's having a go, amazing. But he's now fighting arguably a top heavyweight of the last 10, 15 years. One, it's dangerous. We're talking like it's a real fight. The whole thing I've been doing right now is based on it's a real fight. They're both going to try and flatten each other.
Dave starts running through Jake Paul's record like he's reading off a comedy checklist. YouTuber? Yep. Former basketball player? Yep. Retired MMA guys from the pre-TikTok era? Also yes. And when he finally reaches Tommy Fury, a talented kid, but realistically a regional level fighter, even my coffee stops mid-sip. But here's the twist, Allen still gives Jake his due. He points out the obvious gap, a top-tier heavyweight from the last decade and a half versus a guy who once barely hit 13 stone while boxing influences. At that point, even basic logic wants to bow out. Then Dave does what every straight-talking boxing mind eventually admits, he says what everyone's been whispering. This isn't a joke. This isn't cute. This is dangerous. The kind of danger that puts heavyweights into shutdown mode. The kind you feel in your bones before the first punch ever lands.
It's dangerous. He's not a heavyweight, he's a cruiserweight, if that. Turned pro at 13-2. And he wasn't a kid, he was 23 years of age. He wasn't a kid, he's not grown into heavyweight. He boxed us 5 months ago at 14-3. Might cut a bit of weight, might come down from 15 stone, but it's dangerous, really. It's dangerous, very dangerous, because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep.
The second AJ lands a clean shot, Jake might start asking why the sky suddenly has 2 moons. And Dave isn't talking out of hate, he genuinely wants the safest outcome possible. In his ideal world, AJ drops Jake with a clean, controlled knockdown, Jake beats the count, everyone gets their massive payday, and nobody ends up needing medical attention. But then Dave lays out the uncomfortable what if. What if AJ really hurts him? What happens to the commissions, the promoters, and the entire sport if things go wrong? And while he's saying all this, we're sitting there with that uneasy half smile, because yep, it's all jokes and viral clips right up until a heavyweight sledgehammer meets a cruiserweight chin. Dave sums it up perfectly. He'll watch the fight the same way you'd watch a high-risk circus stunt, entertaining, sure, but with that tiny voice in the back of your head whispering, this could end with paramedics rushing in.
The intrigue is there to watch it for me, yeah, I will watch it. The same way I would go to the circus to watch, to be entertained by something a bit mad. But Anthony Joshua for taking the fight, I'm not sure, so it's a lot of money to turn down, to be fair. But if Anthony Joshua goes in there with Jake Paul, plays nicely, wins on points, takes longer than 2 or 3 rounds, reputation with the casual public done. I'll watch it if he's holding him up and playing nicely. I'll understand. I'll watch it and think, well, he could have stopped.
Leaving Dave Allen's breakdown behind, which dissected the AJ versus Jake spectacle like a theme park safety inspection, we move straight into Steve Gifford's perspective, a man who's been inside Jake Paul's camp, taking punches in stride and witnessing the chaos up close. Steve comes across like that friend who leans in and says, "Trust me, it's wild, but listen to this." He points out that Jake's mindset is the true X factor. The guy genuinely believes he can take down Anthony Joshua, and that sheer stubborn confidence is a big part of why this fight is even happening. Steve makes it clear that Jake has been itching to prove he's more than just a YouTuber with a strong punch, but business politics kept funneling him matchups against former NBA players and semi-retired MMA fighters instead.
Joshua, you know, he's accomplished everything in boxing, from Olympic gold medal to now a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So I think as far as him taking this fight, if anybody deserves to go and have a fun fight like this, it is Anthony Joshua. And Jake, you know, he is kind of showing that he'll fight anyone.
Now Jake finally gets the chance to unleash everything he's got against a man whose punches land like runaway refrigerators. It's like skipping beginner driving lessons and jumping straight into a Formula One race. Bold, impressive, and honestly, a little terrifying. Steve is just there nodding along, like, alright, let's see how this plays out. Then comes the classic UK question, is AJ chinny? Steve reacts like someone just insulted his grandma's Sunday roast. He explains it perfectly. Heavyweight punches aren't gentle taps, they're meteor strikes. Think Ruiz, Dubois, Klitschko, those hits could floor anyone. And when asked whether Jake has the power to actually hurt AJ, Steve goes full analyst, speed is power. In other words, danger doesn't always wear a giant cape, sometimes it sneaks up quietly, powered by sharp footwork and lightning reflexes.
And why is he chinny? Because he got stopped by Daniel Dubois and Ruiz. I mean, listen, this is a contact sport, you know. Like if you get hit, the human body's not made to be getting punched in the face. If you get hit, especially by these guys, Andy Ruiz, who's a good puncher, Dubois, we know is a big puncher. You get hit clean, you're gonna go. You're possibly gonna go down. Especially those guys, 230, 40, 50 pound guys. You know.
Steve points out that Jake is fast, sharp, and unpredictable, but is quick to add that Joshua isn't stepping into the ring for a friendly game. AJ is focused on preparing for Tyson Fury next, and Jake is barging in like an uninvited wild card. The real question isn't whether Jake can land a punch, it's whether he can handle what comes back. That tension is exactly why we're all counting down the days like kids waiting for a roller coaster drop. The AJ versus Jake Paul saga feels part blockbuster, part science experiment. Joshua turned the press conference into round zero, training like royalty and sharpening his crown, while Jake is rewriting the playbook with wild confidence and heavyweight caliber sparring partners. Meanwhile, Teddy Atlas reminds us not to overlook the hidden variables. Dave Allen calls it entertaining but genuinely dangerous. And Steve Gifford points out that Jake's combination of mentality and speed could make the outcome far wilder than anyone expects.
You know, but I would imagine he's going to come, he's going to be on his P's and Q's. He knows there'll be a lot of eyes on him for this fight, so he's going to be looking to make a statement, because I think they have plans of him fighting Tyson Fury next. So I think he's going to take this very seriously. And Jake's definitely taking it very seriously, and he's going to try to ruin the plan.
At the end of the day, if AJ comes in focused and ready, it could be lights out pretty quickly. But if Jake manages to hang in there and make us question what we're seeing, we could be looking at one of the most shocking and debated moments in modern boxing. Drop your predictions in the comments. Who takes it? How long will it last? And is there any scenario where Jake actually pulls it off? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Boxing Stories. Catch you in the next one.